Aarti, welcome to Exam Treasury. एंड फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कॉन्ग्रेट्स कि आपने इस बार JNU MA इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन का एग्ज़ाम क्रैक किया है। सो कैन यू गिव अस ए ब्रीफ ओवरव्यू अबाउट योरसेल्फ? आपने कहाँ से पढ़ा, क्या क्या और कौन कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ का आपने एग्ज़ाम दिया था? देन विल कैरी ऑन द कन्वर्सेशन टू द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक।
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. I belong to Muzaffarnagar, Uttar Pradesh, and my schooling has been done from here itself. And then I moved to my 12th is from PCB. I've done my 12th from PCB, and then I've moved to Delhi University. From there, I've pursued my graduation in political science honors. And then I've appeared for this. I've appeared for two universities, for the Delhi University itself, and then JNU. So I've cleared both. I've gotten due also, but I've preferred JNU because I'm not getting IR there. In due, there is no program on IR.
So you completed your graduation in 2021 itself, right?
Yes, sir. This year.
So, and then you cracked the entrance examination. So, how difficult it was for you, and what was your approach for the entrance examination?
So, before that, my second, my first option is UPSC. So I'll be appearing for UPSC, but I have 2 years in hand from now. So earlier, it was not in my book list to go for MA. So I've decided to take a break, and then I have decided to prepare for UPSC, full on preparation for this exam. And but very lately, I've decided to go for MA in March 2021. So at that time, I've decided, and then my preference is IR only. In UPSC, also my preference is Indian Foreign Service. So so after that, when I decided to go for MA, then I started in my preparation stage. I've begun with question papers, past year papers. So I've gone through lots and lots of papers of previous year, so many universities, and then I got a nag on what kind of questions they were asking. And then on basis of that, I've prepared my sources. First of all, I divided my entire graduation subject. We used to study 6 papers there. During 6 semesters, we used to study 12 papers. I've decided those papers, and then I referred for sources. So I didn't go for a lot of books because I have very short time, and there was ambiguity also because of COVID, that when our paper exams will be held. So I kept very small, I kept my sources very limited, and then I focused on revising them again and again. So that was my overall approach for this exam. And then it happened in October, so I managed to, you know, go through all the sources once and then revise them a couple of times.
So, in terms of the important books that you referred to, so can you name the list of books that you went through, especially for IR?
So for IR, I referred two books. One is Baylis and Smith. That's the standard book we all used to go. And then there's one book on by Andrew Hayward on globalization.
Global politics.
Yeah, sorry, global politics.
So, what was the approach of your studying, these two books? Because see, this is something that everyone goes through. If you ask any of the student, have you read Bellison Smith or Globalization of World Politics or Andrew Global Politics? They'll say, yes, we have gone through. Then, what was the approach of going through these books which helped you crack the entrance examination or which you thought was important for your preparation?
Yes, sir. So that's where the role of question papers becomes very important. So as I already said, that I've gone through lots of papers like of JNU, of SAU, and then there were Banaras Hindu University, Pondicherry University, so Aligarh Muslim universities. So based on the basis of those paper, on the basis of analysis, I got to know what kind of questions NTA was asking. So during whatever I was reading, I was keeping that approach in my mind, how I need to approach that book. For example, in these entrance exams, they ask a lot of questions on books and authors. and lots of questions on quotations. And for example, on dates they focus a lot. So for example, on UDHR, like it's a favorite question of NTA. Like it's in all the papers. So like when it was formed, how many articles are there, and what was the importance, and what, for example, in UN Charter, like in which chapter, what kind of content was there. So I kept that analysis in my mind while going through these books, and on the
Hmm.
basis of that analysis, I prepared my own notes.
Hmm.
So I don't have enough time to go for books again and again. So I read the book only two times, and after that, I think I've gone through my notes three four times before the exam.
Mhm.
So
So this is something, the static part of the syllabus. Now there is some dynamic part, those topics which you generally don't find in any single book. So how did you cover those topics? Like, if there's a question regarding ethnicity, or if there's a question regarding Israel, Arab conflict. So what was the sources of those areas?
yes, sir. So then again, like while going through the papers, I've formed like I've written down some topics that,
Mm-hmm.
like for example, as you said, ethnicity. Then there were some topics from geography also that they were asking on countries and capitals, like very peculiar things they were asking. So
Mm-hmm.
during analyzing the papers only, I've created a list that these topics are there, and have to prepare them on my own. I've not
Mm-hmm.
studied them before. So there I used like random internet sources, and I've also referred to some UPSC, like some UPSC notes. For example, for current affairs, I've referred to Vision IS, so that yearly compilation that
Mm-hmm.
they provide. So on there, like my current affair parts was also covered, and static part was also covered. And apart from that, the topics I've referred from random Google sources. I've preferred UPSC sources because they're quite more reliable.
Hmm.
So on
So,
that basis,
in terms of current affairs, do you think there were huge weightage on current affairs, the kind of questions that they were asking? Do you think current affairs was that important for the preparation of entrance examination? Once you appeared in the examination, do you think current affair, giving a huge amount of time for current affairs was important?
yes, sir. So I think current affair is very important, because before I begin my preparation, when I talked to my seniors also, so they also told me the same thing, that in order to crack these examination, you have to have a very good hold on current affairs, be it for political science or for this
Hmm.
IR paper. So I think if we go by proportion, I think 50-50 part would be like there. And what I've seen personally in these year papers, they are relating more of like current affairs to static part.
Hmm.
So this thing, like yeah, this thing was there like in a good amount in these year papers. So I'll say current affairs is equally important as
Hmm.
the static part is.
One thing that we realized after going through the paper, the question paper, that it equally important that if there is some issue, the current issue, you also need to look at the historical aspect of that issue. For example, if you're thinking about a Pakistan-India conflict regarding Kashmir, then you need to go back to the 1948 or 47, whenever it started. What were the interventions or role played by United Nations, or maybe the Indus Water Sharing Treaty between, and what was the role played by World Bank. Usually we miss those things. So I think many of the students, those who are appearing for next year, they should go through those topics also. So my
Yes.
next question is, see, once you appeared in the examination and came out of the examination hall, so what was one thing that came into your mind in terms of you should have done something more, which you did not do? So it was in terms of something, in terms of mistakes that you did. Say, even though you cleared your entrance examination, that's one thing. But once you give your the entrance examination, you get to know, okay, this is something that I should have done. So what was that something?
Yes, sir. So I'll say that in one particular topic, that is Indian Constitution. So there were some questions on articles. So there, I felt that I should have revised them more. For
Hmm.
example, I've appeared for PSIR, IRAM, and this political science also. So in political science paper, there were a lot of questions on articles from constitution itself,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they were like direct questions. So for example, in this year paper only, there's one question on UPSC, the articles dealing with UPSC. So they've asked a very tricky question, that they've not asked about the entire section, they've asked about a particular article. So in that question I got confused, because I think I've not revised that thing enough. So
Hmm.
and there was also a thing that I didn't focus much on that part, because my preference was IR.
Hmm.
So this is the thing that I felt that and I would recommend to the people who are going to appear next year, that whatever they are reading, they need to revise it multiple times.
Hmm.
So
See,
yeah.
and do you think that appearing in the entrance examination for political science was equally helpful for you?
So for JNU, like my target was PSIR and IRAM only.
Hmm.
Uh, but for DU, yeah, I like based on past year papers of DU. So yeah, so I didn't got your question here.
No, so my question is, see, even though you are targeting for PISM or IRAM,
Mhm.
still if you appear for political science entrance examination either of JNU or DU, so do you think that appearing for political science is equally helpful for your preparation in IR or PISM? Because see, why I'm asking this question, because we recommend most of the student that you should appear so that even if one question comes which
Mhm.
you did not or could not appear in political
Mhm.
science, but then if you have the IR or PSM exam on the next day, at least you can get an idea, okay, I need to see this. So
Yes,
that
sir.
can be helpful. So that's why I was asking.
Hmm. Yes, sir. So if we see the papers, number of questions, so in PSIR, the proportion was 50-50, I think. But even if you are appearing just for IRAM, there
Hmm.
also you'll get at least if that 100 question, 30 question from political science background only. So
Hmm.
in yeah, any of these paper, the this preparation for political science becomes very, very important,
Hmm.
because the
So
fields are interconnected.
Hmm. So, what is your final advice? And one thing more, how important do you think is solving the question bank or UGC papers? Because I see many of the students they make the same mistake of focusing more on studies and less on solving the question. And once they don't solve the question, they cannot evaluate or judge their own preparation level, which after the entrance examination again many of the students again started calling that, so the question bank that you provided or the test series or the UGC papers we did not solve, we just focus on the material. So how important is that, like you have gone through the university papers of various universities?
Yes, sir. So as I said multiple times throughout this conversation, that my entire preparation was based on self analysis that I did on the basis of papers only. And
Hmm.
even after I've prepared my part, then also I've gone through the same papers, and then I've attempted more questions from NTA website. So I'll say that this is very, very important. Like, if even if you are taking help of some coaching or somewhere else, then also you have to analyze it on your own, that
Hmm.
what kind of questions they are asking on, and what kind of what should be your approach of reading the books or the notes or anything that you are reading. So in on that's where the role of questions becomes very, very important.
Hmm.
So I highly recommend that even before you start your preparation, you should go through as many question papers as you can.
Hmm.
That will be really, really helpful.
So what is your final line of suggestion for the students who are going to appear next year?
So I'll say that keep your resources very, very not very, very, but keep your resources limited. Cover the basic aspect of touch the basic aspect of the entire syllabus, and then revise it multiple times. That will be
So
really,
making
really
notes is equally important. because I see many of the students going through the books, but they don't make any notes. So that becomes tricky and very difficult, especially once you want to revise something just before the examination.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because at the time of revision, you cannot go through entire
Hmm.
books, and particularly for these examinations, as I said, that they ask very peculiar things. So in that case, you have to make your own notes. Like, you don't have to write the entire theories in your notes. That you just need to understand, and then what scholar has said. What, for example, we are talking about realism. Then you once you read it from book, then you have to see like what Thucydides has said about it, then what Hans J. Morgan has said about it. So on the basis of like many of them has given some particular quotations also. So you have to jot down them in your own notes, and then it becomes very handy when it comes to revision.
I assume and I am hopeful that the students who are going to appear next year might listen to whatever you have recommended. Let's hope for the best. So, Aarti, thank you for your time. I think it was a fruitful discussion, and all those students who are going to appear next year will find it very helpful. And thanks for joining us, and we wish you all the best.